kept coming after it. It's a strong one. Not very big, but oh, it's a white bass. That's why. He just kept coming after it. And came over here to kind of try to avoid some of these white bass today. Caught a spot a couple minutes ago, and this white bass was hanging out over there. This is an area where I do tend to catch spotted bass, but right now these white bass are so active that they're also hanging out in these areas, so probably going to wind up catching both over here. And it's early in the morning, and I'm just throwing a Berkley jaywalker. I got on 30-pound braid, and what I do is I take a uni-to-uni knot. I tie about 6 or 8 inches, 14-pound test monofilament line, and that way my walking bait doesn't get all tangled up. You can see here on the graph literally a ton of bait in this area. It's just a little pocket off the lake here. I've caught a lot of fish back here. I've caught some big ones, so just kind of hoping there's a big one back here. There he is. He come up and hit it, and I slowed it back down so you get it, and it's another white. But one of the things I found about this area, that if I do catch whites, they tend to be bigger. This is a really good size white bass right here, and actually this is a really big white bass here. They fight real good. You saw my last video, wife and I came out and just caught a whole bunch of them. Now, this one here is actually pretty good size. And hoping to come across more spots. I will as the day progresses, but right now the white bass are hitting my topwater. He already took it. I just barely moved it and he took it. Nope, it's a big spot. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Thought it was a white bass at first. Wound up being a pretty nice spotted bass here. Oh yeah, this is a good one here. I first saw him, I thought it was a spot, or I mean a white bass. It could have been a white bass that initially hit it, and then this guy come up behind him. That's a nice spotted bass. This one's feeding up. Not as skinny as some of the other ones I've been catching. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Good 2 and 2.5 pounder on a topwater early in the morning. Hard to beat. There we go. See, this is when topwater's fun. That early morning bite, another spotted bass, another nice one. Oh yeah, another nice spotted bass. Wow, 2 in a row, big spots. Woo! Nice bass. Absolutely. Absolutely. Another beautiful spot right there. Another couple of pounds. That's 2 of them around. 2.5 pounds. Might be a little school of them over here. There he is. There he is. Another spot. This is what I was hoping for, was to run into a school of spots. And there's so much bait. There's so much bait out here. I mean, I don't know if you see the graph, but that is all bait and bass. They're all over this topwater. Whew. This is probably the best topwater lake I've ever fished. Topwater out here can just be like this, phenomenal. Every time you throw it out, you get a hit. You don't always get them, sometimes they miss it, but it just makes it a lot of fun. Got him. Little white bass here. All I want to do is try to make sure I don't get another treble hook in me, because they will definitely do it. There's a little point right here. It's a rocky point. It goes from shallow to real deep, and they're sitting basically right on that edge there where it runs from shallow to deep. I'm getting hits pretty much every time I throw it over there right now. There he is. Little spot here. He was pecking away at it. He kept missing it, so I just stopped it and let it set, and he got it. I love topwater fishing. One of my favorite things to do. The thing that's fun about it is just kind of going along. You just never know when they're going to hit. And I've had them actually scare me before, where I'm pulling in a bait, I'm getting ready to take it out of the water, and that fish is still following. He'll hit it right there. Get your heart rate going. Kind of like cardio workout, you know. Fun. Hey everybody, it's Dalton. As you can see, the topwater bite really good this morning. White bass, spotted bass were all running together. I got a couple of them, about 2 pounds, 2 in a row, spotted bass. Got a couple of big white bass, and the bait that I used is simply called a Berkley Jaywalker. I'm sorry, Berkley Jaywalker. It's a walking bait. The way I set it up, any walking bait, I always put a little leader. I use braid on all my topwater, so this is 30-pound braid, but I got a 14-pound test monofilament leader, about 6 or 8 inches, and that ensures that I'm not going to get all tangled up. Rod I'm using is a 6'8", medium heavy Okuma EVX, and I got a 7.5 to 1 lose speed spool as far as gear ratio. Topwater bite was great this morning, and if you fish out of the lake like this is Lake Nacimiento here in California. Probably the best topwater lake I've ever fished. That early morning or even later in the evening, and even throughout the day depending on wind and stuff like that, a topwater is a great way to go. You can throw a whopper plopper, walking style baits. You probably get them on frogs out here as well, but I'm going to hold off on that for another lake because they're just bigger bass at this other lake. So I hope you enjoyed this video on some pretty exciting topwater action this morning. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.